Hi, my name is Jaskirat and I'll be explaining the code base, basically what I build. I'm using Express to create the REST API. Core is used for cross-region requests. I basically divided into three types of routes. The student and professor are used for signing in. This is for student sign in, sign up. This is for professor sign in, sign up. These all require the protected routes require a JWT. For student, I'll show you. Basically, there's a sign up route. Uh, I'm using Prisma as an ORM for database manipulation and taking body user sign up types I have here. Sign up and sign in. I am checking whether the email ID exists in professor or in student. If it exists, the account is already linked to an account or it is linked to a student account. And I am if none of this happens, I'm hashing the password and creating a new student here, email name and password. Then in the token, I'm signing it with the ID, email, and role, and passing the JWT. You're passing the JWT token and finally disconnecting. Similarly with sign in, it only has two types. Again, checking if the student exists. If not, the user is not found. Then I validate the password, checking if the password in the body matches the password in the student. Uh, if exists. So similarly, signing it with ID, email, and role using the JWT secret, and finally passing out the token. And there's a get request where it doesn't require any authorization. It just lists all the students, and similarly with the professors table, sign up with the professors. Uh, I am I made basically two of these, student and professor, different because there was a bit of complexity of having appointments and time slots. If I have a single user element and add a role element here, doing the manipulation in large DB, it would be a different, it would make it a bit difficult. Similarly, here in the professors table, in the professors route, sign in and get professors. And finally, it comes to the main part, the protected routes. Again, here I am using uh, getting the auth header. This is a middleware. Auth header, get authorization header. I'm using the bearer slash authorization token thing. So we split it and take the second part of it. If the token is missing, then we just pass a 403 request and decoding the token with the JWT secret and ID, email, and role, passing it into the request body and accessing it here. The first part is time slots. It is a post request and only a professor can create a slot. So checking that because I have rules here, using it for that. Then the start time and end time. I'm using UTC for these. Could change to handle this more, but didn't make it. Try to make it so complex for now. Existing time slots. Checking whether the time slot exists or it's if the time slot already exists. You can't make the same time slot for the same date and date time. So checking for that, then creating the new time slot, passing out the time slot ID. In here's a get request, you can just go and it requires an auth header, then your time slot slash professor ID. You can get the professor ID from dash slash get route and getting all the time slots made by a professor. Then going to passing if the time slots none of them exist or if there is any issue with that. Post request for creating appointments right here. Uh, Check the rule, only students can book the appointments. Getting the time slot ID from the request body, finding if it is already booked basically, time slot not found, and if it's already booked, and appointment update time slot. Basically, I'm here doing what is creating a new appointment and updating the time slot slash is booked to true. Uh, then passing the appointment ID, start time and time. Uh, then comes to get the appointment. It's basically you don't need require any params for that. It just takes the ID from the token and passes it and checks whether the appointment find many for the student or if the professor ID matches the any booked appointments and it gets you all of that. Then is the delete. Here is like only professors can delete their own appointments if the appointment ID slash params if the given appointment ID the appointment or professor ID doesn't matches the ID we get from the auth, then the person cannot cancel the appointment and then finally doing that time slot is booked to false, then ID or appointment status cancelled, appointment cancelled, and all of this. PM dev or try to get requests to get all the student send all the students and professor all the professors. I will Docker container for Postgres basically. It's easier. These are the automated test cases basically I wrote and like checking the responses 201 token. I'm getting a token and sign ups. Professor 1 sign in, create time slots, get professor ID, click time slot again for finally creating an appointment, creating cancel appointment, get appointments. Okay.